You ever notice how a woman can ignore you? Almost like you don't exist, and yet something in your gut tells you she feels far more than she's letting on. Let me break something to you that most men never learn until it's too late. When a woman is falling hard, she rarely shows it in the beginning. She hides it, she tests it, she watches you from a distance because she needs to know one thing. Are you the kind of man she can trust with her heart, or the man she'll regret ever caring about? A woman ignoring you doesn't always mean she's losing interest. Sometimes it's the exact opposite. Sometimes she's overwhelmed by the intensity of what she feels. She's afraid of wanting you more than you want her. She's terrified of looking easy, desperate, or predictable in a world where every mistake with men has cost her something. Confidence, peace, dignity, or even her self-respect. So instead of leaning in, she pulls back. Instead of showing desire, she goes silent. And instead of saying what she feels, she waits to see if you notice her absence. Because that silence tells her who you really are. You have to understand something about female psychology. Attraction is not the first thing a woman seeks. Safety is emotional safety. That is a woman's deepest instinct. She's not asking, am I attracted to him? She's asking, will he hurt me? Will he disappear? Will he change once I care? Will he use me? Will he make me regret letting him in? So, when she ignores you, it's not always rejection. Most of the time, she's studying your response. She's studying your patterns. She's studying the way you handle uncertainty. Because the moment she cares, the moment she starts falling, you become dangerous to her. And here's the part most men miss. When a woman is falling for you, she will act in ways that contradict her own feelings. She'll look the other way when you walk by, even though her heart speeds up. She'll leave your message on read, even though she's replaying your last conversation in her head. She'll give you space even when every part of her wants to be close to you. Why? Because she's trying to maintain control of a situation that feels like it's slipping out of her hands. You're affecting her, you're inside her mind. She feels vulnerable, and vulnerability to a woman who has been disappointed before feels like danger. What she's really doing is protecting herself. She's not ignoring you because you don't matter. She's ignoring you because you matter too much. But here's where things get interesting. When a woman is genuinely falling for you, the silence doesn't last forever. It cracks. It leaks through her behavior in ways she can't hide. Maybe she watches your stories seconds after you post them. Maybe she keeps circling back into your orbit. Maybe she brings up small details you forgot you even told her. Maybe she gets a little jealous without admitting it. Maybe her attitude changes the moment you pull back. Maybe she checks on you indirectly through mutual friends. Or maybe she suddenly wants your attention again, but she's too proud to say at first. These aren't coincidences. These are subconscious slips. These are emotional fingerprints she leaves behind when her guard is starting to break. A woman who truly feels nothing doesn't watch you. A woman who truly feels nothing doesn't think about you. A woman who truly feels nothing doesn't react when you distance yourself. But a woman who's falling, she reacts. She pays attention. She feels the shift. She notices the silence. And whether she says it out loud or not, it affects her. But the question is, do you recognize the signs? Or are you misreading every signal she's giving you? Let me tell you something. Most men never realize when a woman starts falling deeply for you. Her behavior becomes inconsistent, not because she's confused about you, but because she's conflicted within herself. Her heart is pulling her toward you, but her mind is warning her to slow down. That internal tug of war creates patterns that men misinterpret every single day. Patterns that make you think she's losing interest, when in reality, she's trying not to lose control. See, men fall in stages. Women fall in layers. And when enough layers break open, she becomes emotionally exposed. That's the moment she tries to pull herself back together. And that's exactly when she starts behaving in ways that look distant, cold, or uninterested. When she's actually the most invested, she ignores you because she's scared of how much she wants you. She takes longer to reply because she's afraid of saying too much. She becomes cautious because her past tutories taught her that strong feelings can lead to strong disappointments. So instead of running toward what she feels, she steps back to evaluate it. Not because you're wrong for her, but because you might be too right. And being too right is where her real fears live. Women don't fear rejection the same way men do. A man fears embarrassment or ego damage. A woman fears emotional devastation. A woman fears investing in the wrong man, giving her heart to someone who won't protect it, choosing someone who will leave her feeling foolish, used, or forgotten. So, before she gives herself permission to fall, she tests you with silence. She tests you with distance. She tests you with space. And she watches how you handle all three. Does your confidence hold steady or do you crumble? Do you stay centered or do you chase? Do you show patience or do you panic? Because those answers tell her the truth about your emotional stability. They reveal everything she needs to know about your leadership, your strength, and your self-control. And believe me, she sees every detail. One of the biggest signs she's falling is this. She becomes hyper-aware of your attention. It matters too much. If you give her even a small amount of space, she feels it instantly. She won't tell you, but her mind starts racing. Did he lose interest? Did I push too hard? Did I say something wrong? Is he talking to someone else? A woman who doesn't care doesn't ask those questions. Only a woman who's emotionally activated does. And here's the twist. When she starts to fear losing you, she hides that fear by acting like she's perfectly fine without you. She'll pretend she's busy. She'll pretend she's unbothered. She'll pretend she's in control. But pay attention closely because this is where her mask slips. If she's falling, she will start showing small, subtle, almost accidental signs of concern. She might randomly check in on you. She might bring up something you said weeks ago. She might ask indirect questions to see if you're talking to someone else. Her tone might soften. Her replies might get more thoughtful. She might even open up about something small just to see how safe it feels to trust you with something bigger. These are not random behaviours. These are emotional openings, and a man who's paying attention will notice that the very same woman who was ignoring him yesterday is now giving him a deeper piece of herself today. Not because she changed her mind, but because she can't stop what she feels anymore. And the deeper she falls, the more she starts revealing the side of herself she only shows to someone who could actually matter. The vulnerability, the softness, the care, the worry, the desire, the hope. She wants you to lead her emotionally, but she needs you to prove you're capable of leading without controlling, loving without suffocating, and pursuing without losing yourself. That balance is extremely rare. And when she senses a man who can hold that balance, she attaches emotionally faster than she planned. What she's really doing is evaluating one thing. Are you emotionally safe enough for her to fall, or will she regret letting her guard down? There's a moment in every woman's emotional journey where her guard doesn't just crack, it shatters. And it usually happens quietly without warning, in a moment you'll never see. Maybe she's lying awake at night, replaying something you said. Maybe she catches herself smiling at her phone because of a message you sent. Maybe she compares you to every man she's ever known and realizes you're not like them. And that realization is exactly why she pulls back. Because falling for a man who feels different, who feels real, terrifies her more than anything. So when she starts ignoring you, understand this. Very often it's not distance, it's protection. It's her trying to slow down something that's moving too fast inside her. And the more she tries to suppress it, the more those feelings spill out in ways she can't control. One of those signs is what I call emotional checking. She'll subtly watch how you move, not with your words, but with your life. She'll notice your habits. She'll pay attention to how you treat other people. She'll watch how you handle stress, responsibility, pressure. She'll look at the way you talk about your goals, your standards, your discipline. A woman falling for you becomes extremely observant, not because she doesn't trust you, but because she's imagining what a future with you might look like, even if she refuses to admit it to herself. Another sign, emotional availability, suddenly matters to her. She starts valuing your presence differently. She reads deeper into your tone. She pays attention to your energy. She counts the tiny details you didn't even know you were giving off. She becomes sensitive to any small shift in how you interact with her in a way a woman with no feelings never would. If you pull back a little, she feels it. If you change your rhythm, she notices instantly. If you seem distracted, she wonders who or what has your attention. That hyper-awareness is not random. It's emotional investment. But the strongest sign of all, the one most men overlook, is her inconsistency combined with emotional intensity. When a woman is falling hard, her actions won't line up with the cool, detached image she tries to project. She might ignore you one day, then show an unexpected softness the next. She might act cold in conversation, but her eyes light up when she sees you in person. She might take hours to reply, but when she finally does, her message carries warmth, depth, or vulnerability that slips out before she can stop herself. These contradictions are not confusion, they're emotional overflow. She's trying to stay composed, polite, independent, detached, but her heart keeps leaking through the cracks. Sometimes the truth is simple. She doesn't ignore you because she's not interested. She ignores you because she likes you too much, and she doesn't know what to do with that feeling. Another hidden sign appears in her jealousy. Not explosive jealousy, but the quiet kind she tries to hide. She might ask who you were with, but in a subtle, offhand way. She might get curious about your weekend plans. She might go silent when you mention another woman. She might suddenly start putting a little more effort into her appearance when she knows she'll see you. These are small glimpses of a deeper emotional attachment she hasn't fully accepted yet. And here's where men often make a mistake. They respond to her silence with neediness, panic, or irritation. They push, they chase, they demand answers. And that pressure forces her to retreat even further, because the moment she senses that you're emotionally unstable, everything she felt becomes a threat to her own safety. The correct move isn't to chase her or withdraw completely. It's to stay grounded, steady, consistent. A man who remains in his masculine center without collapsing or overreacting is the man she falls for the hardest because he shows her something rare. Emotional strength without emotional chaos. What you need to understand is this. Her silence is not the end. It's the turning point, and how you handle it determines everything that happens next. When a woman ignores you, but still shows certain behaviors, she's revealing something she will never say out loud. You've gotten under her skin, and the deeper she falls, the more she starts acting in ways she doesn't fully understand. These are the moments where her heart speaks louder than her logic. And if you watch closely, you'll see signs so clear they almost feel intentional. But they're not. They're instinct, emotion, attachment breaking through the walls. She's trying so hard to hold up. One of the biggest signs she's falling is the way she reacts when you stop giving her attention. She can ignore you for a while, but if you pull back, if you match her distance, if you stay calm instead of chasing, something shifts inside her. That's when she feels the loss. That's when it hits her that she's not as indifferent as she pretended to be. A woman who doesn't care doesn't flinch when you step away. But a woman who's falling, she feels it immediately. She goes silent, but she's watching. She goes distant, but she's paying attention to every move you make. She might even get irritated, confused, or unexpectedly emotional, and she won't understand why. Another sign appears in the way she tries to reconnect without fully admitting it. She might send a casual message that looks harmless on the surface, but it's her way of saying, "Are you still there? Do you still care? Did I lose you?" She won't say those words directly. Instead, she'll disguise them in something simple. A meme, a question, a comment, a random check-in. but the intention behind it is the same. She wants to re-establish closeness without exposing vulnerability. You'll also notice her giving you more emotional access, even if she pretends she's not. She'll ask deeper questions. She'll analyze your tone. She'll want to know how your day went. She'll remember the little things you say. She'll share pieces of her past, her fears, her insecurities, but in small doses, so she doesn't feel like she's giving too much away. This is emotional investment, and she offers it only to men who matter. There's another powerful sign she's falling: inconsistency in her independence. A woman falling for you will try to act strong and unaffected. She'll say she's busy, she'll act unavailable, she'll emphasize how much she doesn't need anyone. But then you'll catch moments where she's softer, more open, more attentive, more emotional. Those moments happen when her guard slips, when she forgets to pretend, when the attraction becomes stronger than her fear. And here's something most men never catch. When she starts seeing you as someone she could actually choose, her standards for you quietly rise. She wants consistency from you. She watches your reliability. She pays attention to your patterns. She notices whether you follow through on your words. She becomes more sensitive to changes in your behavior because she's already imagining what being with you would feel like long term. That emotional shift is one of the clearest signs she's falling deeper than she intended. But maybe the strongest sign of all is the internal battle she fights with herself. A woman falling hard will second-guess everything. Her outfit, her tone, her replies, her timing. She puts more effort into her appearance. She tries not to seem too eager. She worries about messing things up. Those doubts, those internal calculations, those hesitations, that's not disinterest. That's emotional importance. That's fear mixing with desire. And the irony is this: the more she tries to hide what she feels, the more her behavior reveals it. A woman who is indifferent won't think twice. But a woman who's falling hard will think endlessly. She'll replay conversations. She'll anticipate your reactions. She'll romanticize the small moments. She builds stories in her mind even while telling herself not to. Her heart is far ahead of her logic, and she's trying to catch up. When you understand this psychology, you stop reading her distance as rejection. You start reading it as emotional overwhelm. And that changes everything about how you respond. Not with panic, not with pressure, but with calm, grounded presence. There comes a point where all her mixed signals, her silence, her hesitation, her softness, her distance, and her sudden closeness all collide. And that's the moment she finally realizes she's falling for you. Not casually, not lightly, not accidentally, but deeply, emotionally, and uncontrollably. And at that moment, everything she does is guided by a single fear: the fear of choosing the wrong man and the fear of losing the right one. When a woman ignores you, but still keeps showing signs of emotional attachment, she's trying to protect herself from feeling too exposed. Remember, her silence isn't empty, her distance isn't careless, her hesitation isn't confusion. All of it is self-preservation. A woman's heart is her most guarded possession, and she doesn't give it to a man unless he earns it through consistency, emotional safety, and strength. And here's the part most men never understand. When she's falling hard, she will test you more than any other stage, not because she wants to manipulate you, but because she wants reassurance without having to ask for it. She wants to know that if she chooses you, you won't abandon her. She wants to know that if she lets her guard down, you won't break her trust. She wants to know that if she loves you, you won't turn into the man she regrets caring for. Her tests aren't about power, they're about fear wrapped in longing, fear wrapped in hope, fear wrapped in desire. And if you look closely, you'll see something she doesn't want you to notice. She's not testing you to push you away. She's testing you because she wants to be proven wrong about her fears. And that's exactly where your strength matters most. When a woman is falling but pulling away, you have one role. Stay grounded. Not passive, not desperate, not fixated, grounded, firm in who you are, steady in your energy, calm in your presence. When she pulls back, you don't chase, but you don't disappear. When she gets distant, you don't panic, but you stay centered. When she hesitates, you don't pressure, but you remain consistent. A man who can maintain emotional stability during her emotional conflict becomes the man she feels safe attaching to. Because emotional attraction makes her want you, but emotional safety makes her trust you. And trust is what makes her fall all the way. A woman falling for you will eventually break the silence. She will return. She will let her guard down. She will open up in ways she refused to before. She will speak softer, lean closer, listen deeper, and invest more. She will show her affection not through grand gestures, but through vulnerability, letting you see parts of her she hides from the world. That is her love language at its purest form, letting you see her without her armor. The truth is, when a woman ignores you but continues to do all these things, she's not losing interest at all. She's losing control of her feelings. And that's exactly why she's acting this way. She's falling and it scares her. So the real question becomes this: can you handle a woman who feels deeply? Can you handle her fears, her hesitation, her vulnerability, her softness, her intensity? Can you be the man who makes her feel safe enough to stop running from what she feels? Because if you can, you won't have to chase her. She'll choose you fully, openly, and without fear. Now, I have a question for you. One only you can answer, honestly. When a woman pulls away, even though you know she cares, do you stay grounded, or do you lose yourself trying to keep her? Drop your answer in the comments below. Your story might help another man understand what he's going through. Like this video, comment your truth, subscribe for more real psychology,